Alright, one is Men's here playing the new French Tier 5 medium tank, the Renault G1. Not many people because not many people play low tiers on the test server. This tank, it's going to be interesting to see if they leave it how it is. Right now, I like to kind of compare it to the M4 Sherman because it has a top gun selection. You can either pick a 105mm derp gun or 75mm standard gun. I'm using a 75mm just to kind of test things out. Either gun looks fine, however it does have slightly lower damage capability than the M4 it looks like. Armor wise, nothing special. It's decent for a medium tank, but at the same time you're not going to be deflecting tons of shots in the process. Mobility, as you can kind of see, it's alright. It's nothing to kind of write home about as far as mobility goes for a medium tank. It's more so like a heavy tank, even though it's classified as a medium. Now, accuracy wise, again, this tank, I'm going to pretty much sound repetitive. It's good in a lot of areas, but not excellent. Like even gun depression goes, the gun depression value is nothing special. It's just kind of blah. Okay, it's just slowly itching out there. But the accuracy on the 75mm isn't high enough to be able to hit things too reliably, which is kind of depressing because this tank is very large and it could use a little bit help in the accuracy department or the rate of fire or something to make it stand out a little bit. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to hit him. I was going to keep trying with this KV-1S if he's still there, but I think he moved. Got this archer, but looks like I took him out at least. Okay, so everyone's still sitting in our base, which is a little concerning. So I'm definitely going to have to pull back here. Or else I'm going to be kind of surrounded. Here's this M4 over here. Okay, that's a bad shot on my part. He's going to be coming around this corner. At least I think he's going to be coming around this corner. His archer definitely is. It's going to hurt a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to die. But pretty much this tank doesn't have enough armor to stop shots thrown at you on the turret or the hull. Its gun's nothing to write home about. It's just kind of average, nothing special there. It's mobile but not quick. It's mobile for a heavy tank, but it's a medium. Basically, right now, a lot of the lower tier French tanks, they're not really special. They're very similar to already released tanks, and there's nothing really to write home about as far as the way they stand out. Let me just bring up the M4 Sherman here. Okay, let's just find, come on. Here's the 105mm, or 105mm, and there's the 76mm Top Gun. Now, compared to, don't want that one. Compared to the Renaults, or G1 I'll just call it, as you can kind of see lining up, same amount of damage for the derp gun. It does get a little bit higher penetration as far as the heat round goes, but 3mm is nothing to write home about. At the same time, its rate of fire is very poor compared to the M4's. 0.64 rounds or 0.67 rounds per minute is big enough to be considered a huge downside. accuracy a little bit better, aiming time worse, and it weighs less, but that doesn't really matter. So all in all, the 105 on M4 is better in my opinion. Now moving on, this 76mm gun for the M4 does more damage per shot, has higher penetration, a lower rate of fire. So this tank actually has higher amount of DPM, but 5 less damage per shot value, and its penetration's a lot lower, 100mm for its AP round compared to 128mm, and its APCR round, which I kind of like that they're not introducing crazy premium rounds anymore, it seems like. 129mm for APCR. However, the M4 gets 177mm, so it's a pretty big difference. Now, M4 is less accurate, higher aiming time, and yes, a lower rate of fire compared to the G1, but at the same time, there's nothing. Yes, you have more DPM in this, but your armor's not good, so the M4 is still going to be able to damage you, and even with its worse accuracy, still going to be able to kill you. Now, this thing does have the DPM values on it, so that's a nice bonus, but it doesn't really make it stand out enough, in my opinion, to make it a very fun, and like usually new tanks are supposed to interest you when you want to get them, but this one, it'll be good for newer players pushing up the French line, because honestly the French low tiers were some of the worst tanks to push through, in my opinion, up to tier 5, and at least now they switched it up a little bit. They added 2 more tier 2 light tanks that move into the light and medium tank line, and they moved the Hotchkiss over to this new line that starts at tier 3 through 5, and that leads into the heavy tanks. So you can skip the D1, D2, and B1 if you'd like. These tanks, compared to the traditional, I'll call it, French heavy tank line, those low tiers, they have armor, but they're very sluggish, and they don't have a ton of firepower. Now with this line, they're a little less armored, a little more mobile, and they have a little bit better guns, so it will be nice with fixing that problem. However, overall, there's nothing to write home about pushing up to the G1. The Sarl 42, the S35, and then even though the H35 is a new tank, it still starts the line out. They're well-balanced tanks, but in the end of the day, it's nothing spectacular for players already playing, but very good for new players looking to push up the French heavy tank line. So anyway, we'll see how this is released on the regular server. It could still be changed a little bit. It would be nice if they gave it something else, as far as its firepower is okay with the 75, but the 105mm to me is kind of useless to use, but some people will still like to use it even with its current stats. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, wotguru.com.